What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Thursday, May 29th. It has been a long time since I've done a podcast. A lot has happened in my life. Those of you that follow me on social media, my Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, this has been quite a journey. But I'm happy to be back. This is my first podcast back. And I got a really special guest that's going to be coming on with me today. She is an evening anchor slash reporter based out of Wisconsin, but she's also been in stops in Ohio. She's also been in Georgia doing reporting as well. Her name is Heidi Paxson, and we are going to talk to her about her why of getting into the industry, also ask some fun questions, and really just get to know her a little bit. So, without any further ado, I introduce you to the wonderful, the talented, and the beautiful Heidi Paxson. Good morning. How we doing? Let's see. Can you hear me?
Hello, hello. I can.
Oh, okay. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing very good now. Doing very good that I'm talking to you. That's awesome. I love
Yep.
it. I'm glad that you have a great morning so far. I just want to say
Yeah.
thank you for coming on to my podcast. Work hard, play harder. I really do appreciate it. And I want to ask you before I start peppering you with all these questions. Uh, how's your week going so far?
My week is great. It's going to be a short week. I'm off tomorrow. So today is my Friday, which is exciting. Going to Idaho for a wedding. So little escape from Wisconsin. Yeah.
Absolutely. No, well, congratulations to whoever's getting married. And it should be a wonderful festivity. I'm glad to hear that. I want to also, before we get started, reiterate to you why I wanted to have you on my podcast. And the reason being is that I'm a reporter. I graduated with a journalism degree. I love reporting. I love talking to other reporters and figuring out their why. It's everybody has a story to tell, and your story is just as special as anybody else's. We're so used, Heidi, to going out getting the stories, right? Going out being storytellers and being pillars in our community that we rarely get a chance to sit down and talk about ourselves. So I love to be able to do that with other reporters because it's really a behind the scenes look almost of what we go through on a daily basis, right? And people should know that, and people should tune into that and see that because everybody goes through different things and deals with different things. I did the little research as I normally do with every guest I have on here, and I know that you was in a pageant in Georgia, which is awesome. That's amazing. Which we would definitely get into that. You did a couple of things that I saw on YouTube. Heroes Among Us, I believe you did.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's a military spotlight segment. Yep.
Absolutely. And you also did something where you asked the question, is crime safe in Albany? Which we would definitely get into that as well. So um, I'm just very thankful that you're on here, and I really do appreciate that. I know it's a long monologue that I just went on, but um, the first question that I definitely have for you is the same question I have for everybody that comes on here, and that is, what is your why? Why do you do what you do? What made you want to become a journalist in this industry?
Yeah, so I think my why has kind of evolved, but like been rooted in the same thing, which is a
Mhm.
lot of people say this, but it's just giving a voice to people who need a voice or need their voices lifted.
Sure.
But as time has kind of gone on, I feel like this career has given me my own voice back a little bit. I left the industry for about a year due to just some hardships that were going on and,
Sure.
realizing that I'm not going to give anybody the power to kind of diminish my light and knowing that this is what I want to do and lifting my own voice up the way I want everyone else to lift their own has just been a really, really awesome journey.
I love that. Now, did you have any like other like dreams as far? Did you always know that you wanted to be a journalist, or did it start off, or did it just come to you?
It's all I've always watched the news with my mom since I was a little girl. I've always walked around with a camera, so it's always
Mhm.
been obvious, but I never said like I want to be a news reporter, I want to be a news anchor. Like I, I never really had that, but somehow everything just fell into place and I just met the right people at the right time and the right mentors. And it's like, again, it's so obvious looking back, but it is kind of funny just the fact that I never intended for it to happen. It's just, it literally feels like I was like meant to be doing this.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, if anybody has seen any of your work, you obviously are very passionate about what you do. You're very good at what you do. And
Thank
I'm
you.
not just saying that because you're on here, because no, it's really true. It's really true. You went to the University of Finland,
I
and
did, yeah.
I had to look that up because I was like, Finland, is that something overseas? At first, I thought it was like overseas or something
No,
like that. But no,
small
it's in
town
Ohio.
Ohio. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's where I'm
And
from originally. I'm from Columbus, yeah.
okay. Okay. So I want to know, were there any other schools that you were considering outside the University of Finland? Because you're right. The Finland is right in the middle of Toledo and Cleveland, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. It's like 45 miles from Toledo and like 90 some miles from Cleveland, which is bigger cities. So
It's kind of below both of them, but yeah, a little bit in between.
okay.
It's funny you asked this question. I don't think I've ever been asked this question, but when I tell you, Chris, I looked at least, you can ask my mom, we probably went on 20 college visits.
Mm,
Like
okay.
I just didn't I went to like University of Cincinnati. I went to these really cool schools and I didn't like any of them and I wanted to, but every time I would go to one I just wouldn't get that feeling that I felt like I was supposed to get. Be like,
Right.
yeah, it's fine." So yeah, it's funny, but I ran cross country and track, so that was the biggest reason I went to Finley. I could have been a walk-on at a bigger school, but I think I would rather be a decent athlete at a D2 school. So
Mhm.
that worked out better for me.
What track and field events did you do?
So more long distance, but I do love the 4x4 is actually my favorite track race, which is not really cross country like of me, but a little bit of everything. The 800 was also my favorite.
Okay. No, I like that. I love that. I'm actually, so funny story before I get to the next question. The first time that I ever went to Ohio was on a megabus. I don't know if you know about the megabus.
I
Um,
do.
but but I went there because I was going to see my dad who was in New York. And it was the first time that they stopped in Cleveland, Ohio at the megabus, and it was right across the street from, I think it was a college. I forgot the college though, but the subway. Went into the subway and the subway was totally out of everything. Like no meatballs, no steak, no turkey,
Oh,
no
Subway is in
ham.
food. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Oh, you think about like actual subway. I'm sorry. My
I
bad. I
don't
should
know
have
where my
prefaced
head
that.
is at. Yeah, you're like, no, I'm
You-
thinking about food.
You're good. I was just astonished because I was like, I can't believe you're out of everything. Like it's lunchtime. It was like around
How is
lunchtime
this
and you're out of
possible?
everything. I don't understand that. And it was my
How are you
only
open and how
time.
is this possible?
Like what the hell? Like and I'm
That
not a huge Subway person. I don't really eat Subway a whole lot, but I had a craving for it and it was right by the station and I wanted like I'm a huge steak and chicken person. If I'm gonna eat like Subway, that's my go-to. But
solid
yeah,
choice.
yeah, it was disappointing. But I'm coming back to Ohio because NABJ, which is, one of the chapters that, hosts his conferences, is in Cleveland this year in
Oh,
August.
that's exciting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'll be back
Hopefully you
there
have
in
a better
Ohio.
experience. Yeah. Go to
I
that
was
same
gonna ask
Subway and
you.
see if they have any of the stuff.
I was gonna ask you. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna do that, Heidi. But I was gonna ask you, what should I do in Cleveland in August? Like, I don't know if
Okay.
that's a city that you're familiar with, but I'll be there for
Yeah.
about a few days. What should I do?
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is pretty solid.
Okay.
I don't know if you like Machine Gun Kelly, but even if
Of
you
course.
don't, he has a very cool coffee shop downtown that's pretty
Yeah.
neat. The just like going out scene is really fun around there. They have a lot of kind of like touristy type of restaurants like Margaritaville and stuff. So definitely a
Now you
lot of
talk.
fun to be had in Cleveland. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm with you on that. I love that. That's good stuff.
Sorry
I'm
if you see
definitely
my
gonna have to.
dog in the background.
I did, but you know what? I kept it rolling because I'm focused. I'm focused on you, but I
Yeah.
saw the dog. I'm a dog lover, by the way, so it's okay.
Her
It's
name is
totally fine.
Sadie. She's chilling.
Oh, okay, cute name. Love that. Love that. Let me ask you some favorite questions. Okay, you just give me the 411 off the rip based upon some of the questions that I asked you. Okay, here we go. First question is favorite meal you like to cook.
I don't know if this counts, but I love like a white chicken chili in the crock pot. It's not really
Mm,
cooking, but kind of. And I love anything salmon. Like I love a good salmon dish with like a vegetable and a potato. Kind of basic, but like a honey glazed salmon, 10 out of 10.
Heidi, we're gonna be very good friends. I'm gonna tell you that right
I
now.
think so.
I hope we stay in contact because you just said the key word there. That was salmon. I didn't hear anything after that. After that, I
Uh-huh.
know you said words after that, but salmon. I mean, that's just
Yeah.
so delicious. So
Yeah.
delicious. I'm a huge taco person as well. I love tacos, so I definitely like to whip those up pretty good. And as you know, as reporters, we like to make dishes that we can make fast and quick
Yep.
and easy. So,
Yep. Yep.
anything like that for sure.
Sadie.
Second question.
Sadie. Sorry, my dog's getting out of hand.
You're,
Sorry, I'm so
you're
sorry.
totally fine. You're totally fine. It's totally fine. Second question here. Favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go close to where I
Hmm.
live, and you
Okay.
might roll your eyes. I don't know if you've ever been to the Upper Peninsula, but
Mm-mm.
like in Michigan, big fan,
No,
right above
no.
Wisconsin. Yeah, it's beautiful. I mean, it is like there's just so many beautiful places there, like Pictured Rocks and Pyramid Point, and it looks like almost like a Mediterranean town in some of the places because it's like the water's crystal blue and it's just so beautiful. So yeah, again, really close to where I'm at, but honestly, my favorite.
Yeah, I'm a huge like hiking person. Because I graduated college in Georgia, so I used to go and hike the mountains a lot. Down there in Atlanta, where I still have some family over there. I'm in Marshall, Minnesota now, which, um, yeah, they don't have as many hiking places, but I still love to get out and like to, take pictures and scenery and just walks. I love walks. I love like putting my headphones on and going on walks. I love that. So, yeah, that sounds like a beautiful place. For me, I would say it's the cruise that I went on in 2024 with some family. Jamaica was my place.
Oh,
No question.
nice.
No
Fun.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, you
it
definitely
was
have to
good.
go to the UP. You're not far at all. And also, I love that we both went from Georgia to like Wisconsin, Minnesota. I think that's funny.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, right? Like it was my thing was I graduated at Kennesaw State, was like 20 minutes from Atlanta, and I had like five different offers for as far as reporting. And the first offer was paying me really low. That was in like Idaho. I had a couple in Indiana, which was paying a little bit more, but it was like, ooh, Indiana, small towns. I'm not really too familiar with that, so I was good. So the last two was in Nevada. I don't know why they don't call it Nevada because that's what how it's spelled, but they say Nevada, Missouri, and Marshall, Minnesota. And Marshall, Minnesota actually had paid for moving expenses. They flew me up here, and I was like, okay, this is great. This is awesome. So, um, it was a great opportunity for me to work there. And I've worked there for like 2.5 years. Now I'm freelance, because
Awesome.
I've gotten the experience that I've needed, as far as because I worked in a publication. So I worked doing page design, writing stories, writing articles, going out taking photos and videos and stuff like that. So I got my experience that I needed, but it is crazy how two people from, you came from Albany, Georgia, and I came from Atlanta,
I
Georgia, to be in
did.
the Midwest. And
What
you're
are the
not that far
odds?
from me. You're not that far from me.
Not at
I was
all.
like,
No.
where? I don't even know how to pronounce your city. How do you even pronounce that?
Yeah. Eau Claire. So it's like,
Eau
oh,
Claire.
uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Eau Claire. Got
Yeah.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're about 4 hours away, which is kind of the same distance of what Omaha was. So, because I drove to
Oh,
Omaha as
yeah.
well to, do to see my team play baseball. They have the College World Series over there. So,
Yep.
absolutely. It's amazing. Okay.
I go over to Woodbury for the Trader Joe's, so I go into Minnesota quite a bit.
Okay. Well, listen, if you ever
Yeah.
come this way, if I ever come that way, we need to say what's up to each other for sure. No
Sounds
question.
good. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Next favorite question. I'm going to say favorite TV show or movie.
Um, oh, I'm a big sitcom girl. I'm not gonna lie. I'll just like watch the same sitcoms over and over. I have to say Friends. I love Friends.
That
It's
is
a
a staple.
classic.
It is. Heidi, that everybody, well, I wouldn't say everybody, but most people have said Friends.
Oh, really?
For me, yeah, most people say Friends, like as far as TV sitcoms. If they go with movies, it does range a little bit with the movies, but with the TV sitcoms, definitely Friends, no question.
Yeah.
I know for me, I love Breaking Bad.
Oh, that's
That was
solid. Yeah.
that was my show. That was my show. I loved Walter White. I loved all that. That was my show. So I can watch that over and over again, even though I know what's gonna happen. So it's pretty
Yep.
cool.
Sometimes
Okay.
it's the best.
Yes, right. Favorite concert you've ever attended.
I'm gonna go with Beyonce in Atlanta on my birthday. Not last
Oh,
year, but the year before. That was fun with one of my
okay.
best friends. So that was a solid concert. That was just like a great day. I did get COVID from the concert, but it was worth it.
I mean, to see the Queen, Queen B. I mean,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'll
Was she
take
by
it.
herself, or did she come with people? Like did somebody
She
open
was
for her?
by herself. Yeah, no, she went for
Mhm.
like 3 hours straight. Yeah, it was
Wow.
great.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
That is what's up. I like that. So I
In
used to do
Atlanta too,
events.
it was just
Oh yeah, it was amazing. I bet it was. She probably played at the Falcons football stadium. Probably played there.
it was actually at Mercedes-Benz Stadium, which was cool. I'd never been there, so
Yep. Yep.
yep.
Yep. Absolutely. Okay, that's what's up. That's what's up. I would say probably my favorite concert was um Post Malone.
Oh
Uh
yeah.
I love anything Post Malone. I was upset. I missed his Jelly Roll and Post Malone concert here. So they just came here last week. But that's okay. I'm going to see the weekend in about a couple of weeks. So
Oh, that's
um,
exciting. Yeah, keep us updated.
you know I will. You know I will definitely hit you up. There's no question. The weekend is one of my favorite artists for sure. Last of the favorites of the questions before we move on to more. Favorite sport that you like to watch on TV, favorite sport that you like to attend in person.
I think both would be basketball. I love basketball.
Heidi, I
Big
love you.
basketball
I
family.
love you.
Yeah.
You're awesome. You're awesome. I mean, I don't know if you can be more awesome than that. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
You're good. No, that was all I got. Yeah, my dad's second cousins, they both
Mhm.
played professional basketball, so I just kind of grew up surrounded by it a little bit.
That's awesome. Now, are you a college or pro basketball fan?
I like both. I'm from Columbus, so Ohio State basketball is always really fun to watch, and then professional obviously is just as fun. They're just different.
I got you. Awesome. Although I was born in Chicago, raised in San Diego, and lived in Atlanta, so I've been all over the place. My
Yep.
favorite team is the Lakers.
Oh,
Um,
nice. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, I love the Lakers. Always have. Reason why I got into sports really was Kobe Bryant. Because yeah, that was like my guy, no question. So okay, I
His
like that.
have you ever listened to his Jay Shetty podcast?
No, have not.
You should check it out. It's one of my favorite podcast episodes ever. It's very inspiring and uplifting, and it's just nice to hear his voice.
Okay, okay. We would definitely connect again offline on that because I definitely need that name for sure and spell it out for me. But
Yep,
yeah, we'll connect for sure.
for sure.
This next question has to do with your day-to-day activities. Now, as reporters, um, our days are never the same. Every day we wake up and do something, we doing something different. It's a different story, different thing. Sometimes things don't go as well we planned. We have to make stuff up on the go. Sometimes you're a one-man band. And I'm not sure if you're in that kind of market where you have to carry your equipment, do the writing, editing, and all that. But it just changes on a daily basis. Talk to me about your day-to-day process of how you get yourself ready to do stories.
Yeah, so outside of work, luckily I've kind of found my thing, which I think is like the most important, like finding a base heading into your day. I found a
Hmm.
fitness studio here where I started teaching and just have like a more consistent routine. And now every day when I go into work, I feel a little bit better. But I don't go into work until 2 o'clock, which is kind of different. It's hard to like have a social life sometimes, but yeah, I go in
Yeah,
at
tell me about
2. Yeah, and it kind of depends day to day. Sometimes if there's like breaking news or if there's something going on, they will take me off the desk and I'll report, or if there's like a more special project, or really they give me the flexibility to do any stories that I want to do.
it. Hmm.
But typically day to day, I'm anchoring, and so I'll work with my producers. I do the 5, 6, and 10 o'clock show. So just prepping those, getting those ready, reading over scripts, looking over my old stuff, and just making sure I like the way that I'm coming across, and trying I've been trying to critique myself a little better lately and just paying a little bit more attention instead of being on autopilot.
I totally understand what you're talking about. You said something interesting there, and that's talking about the social life. Obviously, sports are nights and weekends. So I know with me working in a publication, I was 2 to 11 as well, or 1 to 10, or 3 to 12. We always had a deadline that we had to get stories in by, and I'm sure you have a deadline to get your stuff done as well. But it's so hard to hang out with people after you get off of work at midnight. Nobody wants to hang out at midnight on Tuesdays, or nobody wants
Hmm.
to, you know what I mean? So the social life is something that I totally can relate to you on because it's a little lonely, right? Yeah, I'm
It
in a
does.
a new city, trying to get adjusted with different people. And I know at my publication there was nothing but older people. So it was like, oh man, like y'all in y'all 50s and 60s, like we're not gonna have a whole lot to talk about, or relate to. So I definitely
Hmm.
feel you on that. I want to ask you about mental health though, and work-life balance, because I heard you talk about it on YouTube a little bit and how important it was to you. And mental health is definitely important in this industry. I've had colleagues that's left the industry because their mental health has been affected. I'm sure you know people that have as well. Talk to me
I did,
about how
yeah.
right? Talk to me about how your mental health, or how do you, I should say, control or have a grasp of your mental health and be able to still have that work-life balance.
I'll say it's different for everybody. So that's kind of the first thing I had to learn, was like finding something that works for someone else and trying to put that in my own life isn't going to work for me. I need to like trial and error my own stuff. But for me, the biggest thing, therapy once a week, non-negotiable. Have to do
Mm-hmm.
it. Like I have to. Otherwise, I just kind of spiral a little bit. But for the most part, it's just finding a routine. Like I said, the exercising and the social atmosphere there has been helping me a lot, and just finding like a community of people who are uplifting and supportive, because I think sometimes the industry is lacking that a little bit, unfortunately. Not always, but it's
Yeah.
just being surrounded by positive people is really refreshing. So yeah, I would say the exercise, the therapy, journaling, eating right, just trying to take care of myself, I think has been the biggest thing. And it's like when I look at pictures of me from 2 years ago, I can just see the difference from when I wasn't doing that. And it's not just an aesthetic thing, but it just I do feel that way, and I do feel that shift a little bit. And just being in the right place with the right people. It's
Right.
hard when you're stuck in a job. We have contracts in this industry, so sometimes when you want to leave a job, you can't. And I think just like trusting the process, trusting my faith, and just knowing that everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to, and just believing in that.
That's a beautiful answer, Heidi. It really is. That, and you gave great answers so far, all in all conversation long. Um, but again, you said something that was very important. A lot of people that get on here do work in stations, and a lot of people don't understand looking from the outside in about what's going on when you work with these stations. Because when you work with these stations and you have contracts that you sign, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years, and in order to get out of those contracts, sometimes you have to buy yourself out. There's people that bought themselves out of their contracts. There's people sometimes that feel like they are stuck in a contract or a situation because that situation wasn't very good. Um, and you do run into a lot of times where you feel like that upper management sometimes stunts your growth. And it's tough to say that, but it is true. There is some places that upper
Yeah.
management do stunt growth. And you have to make a business decision and be like, you know what, this is probably not the best for me, for my mental health, for me personally. And I have to separate myself and get myself out of this situation by any means necessary. Kind of what I had to do with the Marshall Independent. 2.5 years was great working there. Uh, but at some point, the comments started to get kind of out of control. I was the only African American that was working there, the only minority that was working there. And, I was getting told stuff like, I'm below average. For 2.5 years, I would keep getting told this. I'm below average, I'm below average, I'm below average. And they would still pay me and hire me and send me out on assignments. And our subscriptions was going up and things was going up and we were improving as a business, but I'm still below average. So at some point, I got tired of hearing the comments, and I was like, "Look, man, if I'm below average, then you need to find somebody else's ass and get them up in here. You just need to find
I
somebody
think,
else."
yeah, I think I'm trying to look at situations like that as an opportunity to prove people wrong and let that
Sure,
fuel me a little bit.
sure,
Yeah, I think the perspective can always be shifted even if it's tough, but just trying to stay positive and trying to keep an uplifting attitude of just, you know what, maybe this isn't where I'm meant to be. And maybe all of this is happening because this is not my path and, maybe I'm made for something bigger.
sure, absolutely. Which kind of bleeds into this next question, which is, what is some advice that you would give someone if someone came up to you? I'm sure you probably have interns that come into the station that probably work. What is some advice that you would give them or someone that wants to be in this industry as a journalist?
My mentor, Megan, she always really pushed core values onto me
Hmm.
and knowing why you're doing what you're doing. Because again, if you're just on autopilot constantly and you're doing things maybe because you like attention, or maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe your intentions
Oh yeah.
aren't what you think they are. But when you really
Hmm.
dive deep into that, either side of it, whether you decide to pursue it or not, you just feel so much more clear headed going into work and like day by day, year by year, whatever it is. And yeah, I think just knowing why you're doing what you're doing, having intentions behind all of it, and just making sure that you're in there for the right reasons.
I
Because we
like
don't get
that.
paid a lot usually. The hours are not always the best. I worked weekends for about 5 years. So,
Right.
yeah, just it's like, why am I making this sacrifice? Do I really care about it? And just evaluating
Right.
that and pivoting accordingly.
And I always try to tell, especially college people that just graduate college, because sometimes I have college students on here on my podcast, and I let them know that, just because you want to see somebody being on TV and you think they may have it glamorous because they're on TV and they're getting makeup done and they're anchoring the news, is not as glamorous as people always think it is. Like it's a lot of hard work
Mm-hmm.
that goes to being a reporter, and sometimes when you're on the outside looking in, you can get a misconception of things. And that's one of the reasons why I do this podcast a lot, because people need to know that if you're going to be a reporter, you can be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You got to be 2 feet in, and you got to be really dedicated
Absolutely.
to do this job, because otherwise, you need to find a different profession, because this is not for the weak-minded. As you just stated, you don't get paid a lot of money. We don't. We don't get paid a lot of money. So we really got to that balance and budget. I call it B&B. We really got to look after our money, and we really got to be careful about that, because sometimes most reporters like myself pick up a second job.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to try to have some extra money and make ends meet and stuff like that. So I love that answer that you gave. Um, this next question I want to ask you is about the pageant, right? I saw the video of you talking about you being in Miss Georgia, and obviously the beauty is there, Heidi, no question about that. But what made you want to be in the Miss Georgia pageant?
So we're kind of talking about bumpy roads and just not landing where you thought you would.
Hmm.
I I haven't actually talked about this yet, but I got accepted to do compete in Miss Georgia. I
Okay.
had a coach, I had all the things, and essentially for a couple of reasons I wasn't able to, which
Mm.
caused some turmoil in my life.
Oh,
I'll
okay.
just say it that way. um,
Mhm. Okay.
so I ended up not doing it, but that was when I moved to Wisconsin, and the date ended up getting moved, pushed back like 6 months later. So I don't know if I would have been able to do it anyways, but it was a really good experience just learning how to like stand tall and speak clearly and like really dig deep into like myself and my history and my background and why I care about what I care about. So I didn't end up doing the pageant, but it was a fun opportunity to just kind of look inward a little bit and kind of see what that process was like was fun, even though I didn't get to do it. But yeah, so that was kind of a bumpy road there.
I got you. I got you. Well, I appreciate your transparency. I really do. I appreciate you being open about that. Can we talk about your segment that you did? Because it was about a 30-minute segment, The Heroes Among Us. What
Hmm.
how did that concept come about? And tell me about just doing that segment and doing that Heroes Among Us. How did you feel? How long did it take for you to do it? Everything.
Yeah, so when I left news, I moved to the Washington, D.C. area, and I worked for the National Museum of Health and Medicine, which is like an army historical museum.
Hmm.
So I have a bit of a background, working on a military base and highlighting stories from the military. And so when I went to Georgia, the person who was doing the Heroes Among Us segment, she had just left, and they asked if I would want to do it just because I do care about that subject and have a bit of a background. So it was each month I would highlight a military veteran in the community and young
Hmm.
or old, male or female. And it was kind of fun just like exploring the area a little bit, especially right when I moved and meeting these people who some of them have never shared their stories. Some of them would talk for 3 hours and I would just let them because they told me that no one had ever asked them about being in the military or being in World War II. And I just find that fascinating. And I'm
Wow. Yeah.
kind of like the voices we had talked about, just like lifting them up and giving them a platform and showing people what they went through was a really unique experience.
Yeah. Looking at some of those, it just seems like, they really enjoy talking about that stuff. And I'm almost shocked, bewildered that nobody has ever asked them about that. I would definitely be interested in hearing about World War II stories and different things of that nature. I'm a huge historian anyway. Obviously, Black history is definitely something I love, but I love history as well. Just learning about different things and different people. My dad was also in the Navy, so it's definitely something that is very important to me for sure. Um,
I
I
think
wanna ask you.
a lot of
Go ahead.
people, oh, sorry. I was just
No,
going
go
to
ahead,
say, I
go
think a
ahead.
lot of people they're scared to ask their loved ones or
Mhm.
even just people they meet about their background or their time in the service, and I think that that just really showed me that you can ask them, and if they don't want to talk about it they'll say no, but I have not had that experience thus far, but it is
Mhm.
something that can be a little bit intimidating to ask about. You're afraid to say the wrong thing or ask the wrong thing, but in general they just want to know that people care about them, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, that's amazing. I love that, Heidi, I really do. Um, we're gonna play a little interactive game. We came to the point of the podcast now that this game is called This or That. So it's a game
Okay,
where I ask you a question and give you some choices, and you get to choose either this or that. So I'm going to ask you, Heidi, are you ready?
fun. I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. So, first question is, which restaurant would you rather eat at? Popeyes or KFC?
Popeyes.
Okay. Okay. All right. We off to a good start, girl. We off to a good start. I'm with
I
you. Here
do
we
work
go.
next to a KFC, and it does call my name a lot, but I like Popeyes a lot more.
Okay. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. I love me some Popeyes too. Okay. When it comes to chicken wings, which flavor would you rather have on a wing? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Lemon pepper, for sure.
Okay. I'm with you on that. Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Wet, I would say.
Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
I like boneless, but I wish that I preferred the other just because I feel like that makes more sense. But yeah, I like boneless.
Oh, listen, you can't go wrong with either one now. I mean, I get
Yeah.
messy regardless.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm totally with you on that. All right. This next one here, you've done, I would say, all three of these. Which one, if you had to eliminate it as a job that you'll never do again, which one would you eliminate? Reporter, anchor, or producer?
Ugh, I like them all. I hate that
Mm-hmm.
question. Ugh.
Mm-hmm. It's a tough question, I know. That's what we do here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast, though.
You know, I am an anchor, but I think anchor would have to go. I think if I couldn't report or produce, I
Mm-hmm.
don't think I would want to do it.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Listen, that was
Which
a
is
tough question. That was a tough question.
yeah,
Which sport would you rather watch on TV, football or basketball?
basketball for sure.
Which sport would you rather play, bowling or badminton?
Bowling. My fiance is a big bowler. He wants to go bowling like every weekend.
Shout out to the fiance because he know
Yeah,
what's up. That's what I love
he
that.
does.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with because I'm a huge bowler. Are you a huge
Uh-huh.
bowling person?
I am. I want to be better at it, but I do enjoy it.
Okay, enough said.
I
Enough said. I'm with
try.
you on that. Do
You
you
got me
need the
my own
bumpers?
shoes, so I don't have an excuse.
Do you need the bumpers?
No, I'm not that bad. Like I can get above 100, but I want to be a little better than that.
Okay, well then that's okay. That's all
I
right.
think
We
one
good.
time I got like a 170 and I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm like professional now."
Ooh, yeah, that's pretty decent. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And I'm not patronizing you by saying that. I'm really not. That's
No, I
really
know.
good.
You're good.
Okay. All right. Now, what I want to ask you is about. I'm going to throw four categories at you. Okay. You got to choose one of these categories that you will eliminate, that you will never eat again. So here we go.
Okay.
This question is called sweets. Okay. So I'm going to give you four different ones. The first category is pies/cakes. The second category is candy. The third category is cookies. The last category is ice cream. Which one are you choosing to eliminate that you'll never eat again?
Pies, pies and cake, I think. I can't go
Okay.
without the others.
Wow. Okay. Okay. What's your favorite ice cream?
Ooh, like a s'mores ice cream is pretty solid. But being from Columbus, Jenny's ice cream, they have it in the grocery stores all over the place. Jenny's ice
Okay.
cream, just in general, any other flavors is my favorite.
Okay. Okay. I like that. I like that. Now, this next question has to do with potato chips. Do you eat potato chips?
Love potato chips.
Okay. So it's the same format. I'm going to name four different brands. You got to choose one of these that you'll get rid of. So here we
Okay.
go. The first one is Doritos. The next one is Lay's. The third one is Ruffles. The last one is Pringles. Which one are you getting rid of?
I think the Pringles.
You sure?
I think so. Is this a trick question? I would say
No.
the Pringles. I just really like the other three. It's not that I don't like Pringles. I like them all.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No, I would get rid of the Pringles too, because my favorite chip is the Ruffles, to be honest with
Okay,
you.
yeah, yeah, me too. Yeah.
I'm a
Or
huge
Doritos,
Ruffles
yeah.
person. Yes. Okay, okay, I got you on that. Um, Now I want to ask you these last three this or that questions are music concerts. Which music concert
Okay.
would you rather go to? Okay. So, which music concert would you rather go to? Would you rather see J. Cole or Kendrick Lamar?
Ooh, Kendrick for sure.
Okay. I'm with you on that. I would say the same thing. Which concert would you rather go see? Would you rather go see Rihanna or would you rather see SZA?
Rihanna. I love SZA, just to be clear, but Rihanna.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Last one. Which concert would you rather go see? Carrie Underwood or Miley Cyrus?
Miley Cyrus.
Okay, you said that really quick. Okay, so you must not be a
I
country
was of
person.
I just I don't know. I do really like Miley Cyrus. I like grew up in like the Hannah Montana era. So I feel I feel like I have to choose that.
I feel you on that. Listen, I love her voice. She has a unique sound. And she's right. She really is. She's really talented, no question.
Hmm.
You did pretty good on this or that. You did really good. No question.
Thanks.
We got a lot of
No
things in
notes.
common, girl. I'm
We
saying,
do.
like, that's what's up. I like that. This next question has to do with well, next two questions has to do with the top four. Okay, this first
Okay.
top four is about a bucket list of stories slash events that you would like to cover. What is your top four?
Ooh, good question. Top four. Olympics for sure.
Okay, now.
And can I just put the Olympics four times? Just every I'm joking. Not really. Um,
I love that though. I love it.
um
You probably gonna say like track and field Olympics, basketball Olympics, swimming Olympics. I feel that.
just all the Olympics.
That's
That's
funny.
really my biggest one. And then after that, it's a good question. I
What
love
about
anything political. I think like an inauguration would be really cool.
okay. What
I
about
think
like
that would
red
be
carpet?
like red carpets would be cool. I've always seen myself, like I could see myself being like an ET reporter, on the red carpet asking
I I
questions. I think that would be fun.
I think you would be amazing. You would look amazing, no question. And I think your questions, I think you're a very personable person. So I think people will come up to you. I think you have a lot of great conversations as well.
Maybe one day, we'll see. We'll go back on this conversation. We'll be like, see,
We manifested it. That's what you could say. We manifested it
we're
into destiny.
manifesting.
Right.
That's
So I
right.
love, I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that. Okay. Give me one more.
One more is, I don't know. I'm trying to think of anything off the top of my head.
What about another sporting
Um,
event? Maybe NBA finals.
I think that would be cool. Like a national championship situation would be really fun. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with that. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I would say I'm a sports guy, so anything sports, NBA. My number one would be the Olympics. Obviously, with the
Yep.
Olympics being here in Los Angeles in 28, that's going to be amazing. Had a chance to do the Super Bowl this past year, so that was amazing when I did that in New Orleans.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I really do. So I checked that off the list. I want to do the NBA Finals. I'd love to do a World Series. And I would also love to do a national championship game, which next year is in Miami. So that would be amazing to do for sure. This next
I
top
think
four
sports
has
is a little easier, just
it is
because it's like you guys have the events and you know about it. Where news, I've done so many stories that I could have never planned on doing or covering. So
right.
I think it's a little trickier because I'm like, I don't know what's gonna land in my lap. Like I have no idea.
Which, and I'm gonna get to a question like that, but this actually let me ask this there, because you brought up a great point. With news, sports is easier. It is easier, and you have soft news, you have hard news, right? And yeah, sports does get some hard news at times. People win, people lose. There's been many times where I've interviewed people that have been crying because their season has ended, especially the high schoolers. And it's always tough to interview the high schoolers because they're like, oh man, it's the team will never be the same again. It's going to be different, right?
Yep.
Tell me, how do you deal, or how has it been with you dealing with hard news stories? Because I can imagine sometimes it's kind of hard to separate yourself to be able to, not take that home with you.
I think where I have had a really hard time with this is I will kind of say that like my feelings aren't valid because I'm not a paramedic or a first responder
Mm-hmm.
who these people's lives is literally in their hands.
Right.
So it's like acknowledging that while also acknowledging that my feelings are valid and that sometimes I am witnessing some really hard, sad things. And it's just it's weird to navigate because you'll talk to someone on the worst day of their life and then you'll go to like a garden center and talk to some woman who's planting for the nursing home. Like it's just so many lows and highs and just
Yeah.
kind of looking at life that way and just like seeing the beauty in all of the experiences going in around us and hardships and just the perspective that that gives us. Yeah, it's tough and it's tough to go through, but I think just talking through it in therapy and acknowledging again that your feelings are valid and that your experiences are real and witnessing things can be just as tough.
Yeah, it's definitely why I dodged news. It
Yeah.
would have been very tough for me to stick a microphone in somebody's face, and I commend all news reporters that do it. I really do. Everybody that I've spoken to that's a news reporter on this platform, I just commend everybody for doing that, because it's just tough for me to stick a microphone in a mother's face that's seen either a house on fire, or somebody shot, or just some hard tragic news, right? And because you have to pull yourself together, and you have to be a pillar in the community, because you have to be able to go get an advocate. You have to be an advocate for the news, but at the same time you also got to show some empathy as well to the people that you're interviewing.
Hmm.
um
And
and
I've
it's
learned
it's
that it's okay to cry with people and it's okay to
yeah,
be human and have feelings, especially when you're not on camera.
right.
And I think when you can open yourself up a little bit, it really shows your intentions and that you're not this evil person trying to do them wrong. You're really trying to help them and amplify their voice.
Absolutely, I love that answer. I do. The next top four that I wanted to ask you about was a top four when I come to Eau Claire. Because,
Okay.
Wisconsin, I'm thinking Eau Claire might not have much going on. And in
You'd be
Wisconsin,
surprised.
yeah. Oh, okay. Well, listen, I'm looking forward to this answer now, because I'm a person that likes to go out and likes to have a good time. And no question about that. But when you think about this, the state of Wisconsin, you think about Green Bay, you think about Milwaukee, you think about some of those
Hmm.
other kind of bigger cities, right? Tell me a top four things I should do when I pull up to Eau Claire.
Yeah. So a lot of like festivals and such. So there's big music festivals, kind of whatever you like, you could find, like the Northern
Okay.
Wisconsin State Fair. I think
Okay.
Florida is coming this summer pretty soon, and then they have Country Jam for people who like country a little bit more. But yeah, a lot of festivals going on, so that would definitely be number one.
Okay.
The food is amazing here. If you can get your hands on cheese curds in the area, they're always always delicious. I remember the first time I came here, I had queso at a restaurant and it changed my life. And I think about it all the time. I was like, this is the best queso I've ever had. And it's just like the cheese is just different.
I bet it is. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, music, food. I think just exploring in general. The downtown is really beautiful. The river goes right through it and there's shops and things to do. downtown. And then just like floating on the water is fun too. And it's just so beautiful here that it's always very peaceful and just kind of recharging.
Oh, okay. I love tubing. Tubing is great. Used to do that in Atlanta quite a bit with some
Yep.
friends. And cheese. I mean, yeah, how can I forget? That's like their big time thing there in Wisconsin. Cheese, no
Yep.
question. So,
Definitely.
and I've never had cheese curds. Fun fact, never had cheese curds.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, you have to get
um,
some.
okay, okay. Well, if any place that I should try it at, it should be the authentic place of cheese, which is in Wisconsin for sure. So,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
definitely love hearing that top four. I like traveling. I like going to different places. So, Eau Claire is definitely a place that is on my bucket list now, for sure. Um,
Yeah, I think you and my fiance would get along well, so we can all hang out and eat cheese curds and listen to music.
That's what's up. I love that. I love that. Yeah, I love meeting dope people for sure. And I'm sure he's pretty dope and you obviously pretty dope yourself. Two more questions that I have on this podcast here. This has been a really, really good conversation having it with you. This next question I want to ask you though, is about where do you see yourself as far as the like the final thing that you not the final thing, but what is the next step for Heidi Paxson, right? For me, is definitely either covering a team or being able to cover professional sports on a daily basis, right? Because I've covered high school, covered college, but I would love to get on a team or cover professional sports through a publication. What is the next step for Heidi Paxson? Right now, you're an evening anchor slash reporter, but what would you like to do? Would you like to continue just going up as an anchor, or would you like to do something different?
I think my next goal, it's a little vague, but top 50 market would be my goal with anchoring included, so it doesn't have to be like an anchor only job.
Okay.
But yeah, anchoring in a top 50 market, just I try not to like I've realized specific goals about specific places and specific things. Life just doesn't always work that way, and that's okay. So I think making it a little bit more vague and open is going to open some more doors for me. I'm not really tied to any specific area. Jordan works remote, so luckily he can go wherever I go. So we're pretty flexible with that. And that's just been really fun moving around with him. But yeah, I think just a bigger market with a lot more people, just a bigger community to reach. And I'm not in a hurry to leave Eau Claire. I do really like it. So we'll see. We'll see where I land.
I love it. I love it. Well, with a name like Jordan, he must be destined for greatness. No question about it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I'm
Yep.
with you on I'm with you on that. This next question that I had was this not a top four, but I would say maybe top two. Give me two stories. And we talked about a couple stories that you did, but give me two other stories that you did that was very impactful in your journalism career, that was impactful in your life.
I had one story that I covered, and it was really early in the morning.
Mhm.
And initially, I was by myself. My photographer ended up coming. This was when I was in Michigan. My
Okay.
photographer ended up coming, but initially, I was waiting on him. And it was a story where a woman's husband shot her sons.
Oh,
And so she obviously did not want me there.
right,
And
right.
she vocalized that physically and verbally. And I
Oh,
think as hard of a story that was to cover and as hard as it was talking to her, talking her through that, or trying to rather, that was
mhm,
like really, it was a really big wake up call of kind of what I said earlier of realizing this is oftentimes the worst day of somebody's life.
right.
And it just taught me a really deep empathy that I don't think I would have otherwise. Just other people have other experiences that they're going through, and I don't understand it sometimes. And just kind of working through that and not blaming people for being angry they
Right.
pointed at me, whether they pointed at their husband, wherever that's pointed, just being okay with that and just kind of releasing that like people pleasing.
Sure.
Um, so that one shifted my perspective on a lot of things. And then try to think of a lighter one.
Oh,
um, Actually, when I got here, I interviewed a World War II vet, which I had done before, but hearing his story and just some of the things that he's gone through as a 100-year-old man just really showed me how many cool stories there are out there and how much there is like that other people offer to the world. And it just makes me not want to like stay cooped up in my house ever. Like it just makes me more curious about what is out there and just how many cool people have so much to share with the world.
absolutely. No, I love those two. I mean, they're different ends of the spectrum stories, no question about it. But I love those two
Yep,
stories you gave as well. And that's the beauty about what we do as reporters. Like, you just never know what story you're going to do, what you're going to learn on a day-to-day basis because it's so different. But that's why we also do what we do and love what we do. Because we love talking to people, we love getting to know people, we love being able to share these stories because people want to talk. People want to talk about themselves and they want to be able to share things, and we want to give them the
definitely.
comfortable space to do that. And you certainly have done a wonderful job doing that, Heidi. There's no question about it. Anybody that knows you will say
Thank
the
you.
same thing. That's for sure. Um, this has been a really cool conversation having you on my podcast, really talking about your beginnings of watching the news with your mom, going to the University of Finland, having 20 plus visits in college, getting to some of your favorite stuff that you like to do, talking about you bowling a 170. Whoop whoop, that's pretty good. And you doing different things, right? Right. You doing different things in
Yeah.
the industry, like your segments and different things like that. So I really do appreciate you allocating the time to come on my podcast and talk to me, as I always do with every guest that I have on here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. Is there anything else that you would like to add about yourself, the job, or anything at all before we conclude?
I don't think so. I think this has been really reflective and just fun and light and just a really good thing for my mental health. You asked about mental health, and I think just talking through things and realizing how far you've come in the last few years can be super helpful. So I appreciate the space.
No question. Hey, every day you wake up, you should say you are amazing because you are. I'm sure your parents believe that. I'm sure if you have siblings, they believe that. Your friends, fiance, everybody should believe that
Back at
because
you.
that's what you do. No question about it. Thank you so much. And you enjoy your Thursday, sorry, your Friday, since you're off tomorrow. And you enjoy the rest of your day. And we will definitely be in touch.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. Nice to meet you. See you soon.
Nice to meet you too, Heidi.
Bye.